All right. So I just heard all of New World Depression, um, and I'm just kind of making this quick little side note um, before I go to work. I listened to it all, and I'm gonna re-listen to it. Obviously, um, it is a good piece of work, but I stand by everything I said. They're sellouts. They're sellouts. Like, it is what it is. Like, maybe 3, maybe 4 total songs made me feel like old Suicide Boys. And like, I mean, it is what it is. They saw the money that them TikTok fans was bringing in, and they sold. They saw what TikTok does for your wallet, and they sold, and it is what it is. Like, they still have good music, and they still have that generational run from 2015 to, like, honestly up till I Want to Die in New Orleans in 2018. I'd say that's a pretty solid 3 years of work from them. But they're falling off. And hey, maybe they'll be like Eminem. When they're 50, they'll drop something like they used to, you know what I mean? It sucks to say, but some artists really are better on drugs. And like, I'm happy for them, like changing their life. I really am, because they'll be around. And granted, I guess I'd rather have an artist, live and release shittier and shittier music than just die at like 27, but like, or younger, obviously. But I guess it's just a hard pill for most people to swallow, that there are some artists that produce better art when they're intoxicated. And it is what it is. Like, and I guess the Suicide Boys were just part of that like wave of artists that were really good when they're on drugs and are mediocre when they're not. And it sucks to say that, because I don't want to believe it, you know what I mean? But, and like I said in the video, most of the dumbasses that will argue will be like, oh, their music production. When they said that this album would be for the older fans, right? This OG fans are gonna love it. I was hoping, right? And the first 2 songs came out. You're gonna stare at the vase or the dust on the table, Us Versus Them, both trash to me. And then fucking, I Feel Like Princess Peach. What the fuck? I don't even remember the name of the song. So I'm kind of triggered that this shit sucked a little bit. You know what I mean? There are songs I like, you know what I mean? I like at least half the album, but only like I said, only about half of what I like is even like, sounds like music that they released even in 2018. And then like, honestly, like they've kind of, I don't even know how I feel about Kill Yourself Live. It does kind of sound like, it gives an old Suicide Boys feel, but like, it almost just seemed like they're reusing lines just to like say, hey, it is a Kill Yourself song, but it's us still, like we're still doing it. But it's, I don't know, I have to re-listen. It did have parts that I was like, okay, but then, I don't know, man. I don't know. They're falling off, and as much as people will say like, oh, look at their numbers, they're not falling off, that's not what I mean. They're falling off of like what they were, right? When Slim Shady went to Eminem, that was his eventual start to his fall off, and then he released Recovery, right? And then for years, and then apparently he has a good song now. I still haven't heard that shit because it's fucking Eminem, but like, maybe it is good. Maybe I'm missing out by not listening to it, but... And it just sucks, because I realized, like... one, there's a video that I couldn't find. I was having a hard time locating it. I don't think I'll be able to locate it before I upload this video of Scrim calling fans that don't have problems weird. He's basically saying, like, he does say, like, hey, what if, like, if you're a fan and you don't have any type of problem, like, what are you doing here? That's kind of weird. And like, people try to say like, oh no, that's something he says all the time. It's like, no, No, that's not something he says all the time. He doesn't call his fans weird. Like, it seems like they know, but they're just selling to what sells the most. And what they try to do here is give us those little hints. Like, Burgundy was kind of a banger. Transgressions, I think, was a banger, if I remember correctly. And, like, yeah, those were the bangers that really kind of felt, and then maybe one more. And like you said, that Kill Yourself 5 is kind of, you know, shady. I don't know. I have to listen to it a couple more times. I had to listen to the whole album a couple more times, but on first listen through, like, such a disappointment. And they sold. And it sucks from all the shit that I saw, you know, going to their concerts early and, like, moshing at their concerts and fucking meeting them and seeing history be made. Like, I was at the fucking show in Santa Ana when Puya came out for Southside Suicide. I think I mentioned in the video. I don't remember. And then, like, I was literally at the Roxy when they took the picture with Xavier Wolf, Germ, I think Chris Travis, Eddie Baker, the Suicide Boys, obviously. I think Fat Nick, and, like, I think Puya too. I don't remember off the top. But they're in, like, a parking lot, and it's a whole group of underground rappers. They're at the Roxy. I should be able to find that picture. That one floats around a lot easier. But, like, and I got pictures with Scrim and Ruby at the Roxy same day. Like, it's, and Ramirez. You know, like, it's just, it sucks because it's like, again, like, it's a culture that was cultivated, and now it's just being destroyed, you know what I mean? Like, by TikTok fans, by fans that don't really get the music, don't really get, like, what the vibe is, and, like, maybe they do open up emotionally more on this album, which is a thing that old fans have complained about, how, like, their new music doesn't seem like it's been as vulnerable as some of their older stuff, and this album does have a lot more vulnerability. Yeah, I can't say that fucking word. That's just one of them I can't say. My bad. Got that speech impediment, dog. But the, you know, like, they're a lot more vulnerable on this album, and a lot of old fans were complaining that they really hadn't been in like previous albums. As well as like that dark and gritty and hard sound that they had in, like, 2015, 2016, and, you know, 2017. But it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video, and yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed. But it is what it is. I'm sure I'll find a new artist that from the start, and then I'll be able to watch them fall too. It always happens. You guys have a good rest of your day. What's up, guys? It's Quentin Tarantino here, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that I know just a tad bit about, a smidgen, some might say. It's about a very small music group that probably most of you guys haven't even heard of, if we're going to be honest. You know what I mean? That they're starting to sell out a lot more than they used to, and I guess people are starting to hear about them now. The Suicide Boys, right? Obviously, I'm joking. I think most of the world knows who they are, whether it's through TikTok or actually knowing what their music is, or even through some of the memes that have perpetuated through the current zeitgeist, have involved them. I'm here to talk about the possibility, or in my humble opinion, the reality that they have completely sold out. They are no longer the artists that we loved. They are no longer the artists that we grew to understand, right? And I'm not saying this negatively. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. You know, artists grow, people grow. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I wouldn't take that away from them. In fact, I like some of their new music a lot. However, this isn't about, I mean, it's partially about music, but it's more about, I guess, their morals. And their music does kind of play into that, right? But for example, I've been a fan of the Suicide Boys since early 2015. I want to say like April, maybe March of 2015. It's hard to tell now. You know, it's been almost 10 fucking years. But you know, I'd be considered an original fan, a fan. I remember when Southside Suicide had like 5K likes on SoundCloud or something ridiculous like that. Like I remember I remember finding Tsunami by Russ when it had 10 likes. You know, y'all weren't with that cloud era. You know what I mean? But in all reality, I only say that to say that like I essentially grew up with them. Like not from you know, a jit, but like not from like a tiny baby, but like 2015. That was like my sophomore, like my junior year, right? Yeah, like my junior and senior year. So like I ended my high school career listening to them, and I was listening to dark music before. I was listening to darker rap before, whether it was Immortal Technique or people like Tech Nine or even Eminem. Schoolboy Q had a lot of darker shit in his older albums. Kendrick has a lot of kind of darker shit in some of his older albums. And it's not even that their whole albums are darker, but I was more attracted to the darker tracks, like Sacrilegious by Schoolboy Q is one of my favorite songs by him. So I've always been attracted to darker music, and when I heard the Suicide Boys and I finally understood the lyrics, it really, like, one, the vibe of just like that fucking hard, gritty aggressiveness that they used to have in like 2015, 2016. It's just, it's missing. It's truly, truly missing. And part of this is going to be kind of like my guess at New World Depression as well, but I'm used to their very hard stuff and their very sad and depressing stuff. And it kind of sucks to see the culture that they've now perpetuated, right? I essentially watched them grow from these underground skater punk type fucking music where there's mosh pits, people are ending up with fucking bloody noses. My best friend and I went to the House of Blues in Anaheim in 2017. I think it was one of the last shows before they closed the House of Blues down. It's definitely the last time the Suicide Boys, it might have been the first time the Suicide Boys ever performed there, because of how early it was in them blowing up. You know, around 2016, 2017, they really started gaining some momentum, and then 2019 and 2020 especially, they blew up thanks to TikTok, and we'll talk about that later. But so I remember going to these early blow up. I remember meeting Scrim. I'll show you right now. I will show you right now. Just look at the screen. I have pictures with Scrim, Ruby, Ramirez. I have pictures with Xavier Wolf, but we don't fuck with women beaters or dog beaters. And Chris Travis and Eddie Baker, but I'll only show you Scrim, Ruby, and Ramirez right here because they're pertinent. That was in 2016 at the Roxy. At the Roxy. There was not that many people there. A couple hundred, maybe 500 at the most, but I highly doubt it. Like, I met the boys at that concert. It's that, I'll find the picture too. It's that picture where they're all grouped up. Germ, Xavier Wolf, fucking the Suicide Boys, Puya, everybody's in a group taking a picture in a little parking lot. That was the Roxy. I saw that happen. So it's like, I've been a fan and I've been there for some. I was at the show. If I have it, I might have it in my Snapchat. I don't know if I have when Puya comes out. And fuck Puya too, because he's a rapist. He's a straight rapist. He's a grapist. Fuck him. We don't fuck with him either. But like, just the fact that I'm pretty sure I have the video of that show at the Santa Ana Observatory where Puya comes out and performs Southside Suicide with them out of nowhere, and that crowd fucking loses it. That was in like 2016. I was there for some pertinent things that happened in the underground that was related to the Suicide Boys. I've met the Suicide Boys a couple times. I've listened to their music extensively. I've bought their fucking merch. You know, like, I've supported them. And not saying I wanted them to die. Like I said, I'm completely happy, and I appreciate that they're sober. You know, I appreciate that they realize they made it in the music industry, so they don't have to go through with their pact. So they realized they needed to work on themselves and get right. Obviously, Scrim is doing a lot better than Ruby, at least externally. It looks like it. Scrim seems a lot happier and seems a lot more wanting to do shit than Ruby does. But then, like, that could just be Ruby. He's always touted that he was a recluse more than Scrim was. But that's besides the point. I say all this to say, like, there was a culture that they had bred. This, we love the outcast culture. This, yeah, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what happened to you. It doesn't matter if your mom's a fucking drug addict. It doesn't matter if your dad beat the fuck out of you. It doesn't matter if you don't have parents. It doesn't matter if you're suicidal. It doesn't matter if you're a drug addict. You have a community, right? And granted, I loved part of the community that mosh pit. Like, I love the mosh pits. They're fucking amazing. Especially at those early shows, y'all don't even know what you were missing. If you weren't there, you won't know. You never will. Too thick with a stick that I won't miss. Little sick, real sick, don't talk shit. Whip like a whip, skip long fish. Suicide man, can't go with a fight, it's a great fight now. Real great die for me, buddy, this side. Sweat, in the motherfucking all white crowd, get blue like now, get side, get down, let's go, let's go, let's go, because he never let the crowd get out. Got the town lived up, and they're running in the day, with my grace and my day, big grave, with the big, with the day, everybody laying in the bird. Still got the bass, still got the gun, still got the bass, still got the sun. They were like some fucking Slipknot concerts, bro. They were like some fucking Korn concerts for a rap group, bro. Like some 3-6 tearing the club up, bro. It's crazy. Like, I fucking threw up and then started moshing at one of them. Like, that's how hard it was. Like, and it wasn't like straight. It was like I just drank some water and basically like yacked that up. You know what I mean? So just water, but like still, like, it was pretty intense. And like, I wasn't about to just get caught up in the pit because I was like, oh, my stomach, oh. Nah, fuck that shit. Gotta be with it. And that was part of the culture. Is like, you would mosh, but then people would pick each other up. You get knocked down and you get picked up all the time. And like, that culture devolved as they grew more and more popular. Like, look at the first Lollapalooza they did. How hyped everybody was versus like the most current Rolling Loud that they did.
Wake up in the morning just to pass up. Bitches, fuck, rock, nation. Body, shit, place. Look, the forsaken. Watch bitches, fornicate. Losing for bells and second. 666 be my language. Smoking on something that's flagrant. Shooting up something that's stagnant. Rain drops cover my dreadlocks. Move 21 savage, they red ops. Might get my face tatted with a teardrop. Shell shock, leave the bodies on the sidewalk.
6 days to my death on the 7. Let me be lower level, dwelling out the devil, rocking every pain. Ruby sweat, drinking till the end. Watch us spread the seeds. Left a print all on his body hanging off the string.
Realest motherfucker from every meal the last supper when you got.
Finish these motherfuckers, dog. I'm done with it.
I bet. Send me the fucking natty and I'll see y'all in a second. Keys to the fleet with caddy, push to start the 911s. Trying to get you crazy, and they always trying to date me, trying to take me down because I suck a titties like a
Baby.
Hit me all you want, better watch your back, I never fuck. You were brothers, I got never like nothing changed except the truck. Knock the piss out of pussy boy trust. Start a 30 off the 40, let it bust.
Where everybody's just, oh, yeah, it's not fair. I felt like, bro, like, fuck out of here. The fuck is that shit, bro? Basically, what I'm saying is like, they bred a culture, and they bred a very hardcore culture. I'm gonna just say that, like, the newer fans have ruined it. And in turn, I think the Suicide Boys have helped lead them to ruin it because they don't care anymore. I mean, I don't think that they ever cared, if you listen to their music. But essentially, yeah, we took a culture that was all about, yeah, it was hard and aggressive, but tight-knit, super tight-knit. People always fucked with each other after like Grade 5 9 shows. I don't think I ever really saw fights up until like they started blowing up and getting really popular. So it's like they created this culture and this place of acceptance for a lot of people, and now look what they've done. Look at the current Grade A prices. Even before resale, like, the prices had jumped up from last year. I think I only paid about $150 for VIP tickets. I think it was going to be closer to $300 this year in my current city. And like, I could afford that. I could easily afford that. But the last 2 years I've gone to Grade A, 2 years straight, I've gone to Mosh Pit. And I've had a lot of bad experiences because of the fans. Because they don't understand the culture. They get all pussy hurt when somebody, oh, you bumped me a little too hard. It's a fucking mosh pit. What are you standing in the mosh pit for?
My bad, bro. Oh, kill him all. Other side.
Like, it doesn't fucking process for me sometimes, because it's like, why are you here? Why are you, like, don't get me wrong, you can be at the concert, not mosh pit. Just, why are you in the mosh pit? To complain. Or, when I wasn't in the VIP section last year, the year before, when I was in general admission, I got to the very front of general admission. Whole time, bunch of fucking people on like right here, right in front of me. Oh my god, we're getting crushed. And it was like, of course, there's a group of like girls for the most part, but then they had a couple dudes. It was like, oh, we're getting crushed, you need to move back. You're gonna move 20 fucking thousand people back? Huh? You wanted to be in the front to see them, right? If you don't know how fucking concerts work, don't go. If you don't know how music festivals work, don't go. Especially fucking places like this with crazed fans, like actual crazed fans. Like, yeah, you expected to be comfortable in the front, you fucking dummy? Like, and then gets mad at me because I was like, bro, you're being a bitch. And she's like, you called me a bitch because I'm a woman? I'm like, no, I called you a bitch because you're being a bitch. Like, you're literally being a whiny bitch. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Sorry my vernacular isn't, sorry I'm not, it's very unbecoming of you to think that, like, no, fuck you, you're being a whiny bitch. Sorry. Like, it's those kind of fans that fucking came after TikTok fucking blew them up, even more than they already were. Bro, they were fucking, in 2020, maybe even 2019, before TikTok, I'm pretty sure they were in New York Times Square on a billboard. They didn't need new fucking TikTok's help. Like, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. And that's the problem, right? That's kind of where I lead to, like, are they sellouts now, right? Because look at the prices. The prices aren't meant for you and me. The people that bred this culture, the people that really helped them boost them into popularity. Because the OG fans are the ones that did it. I never gatekept them. Kind of wish I did now. Not gonna lie, there's a lot of pussies in the G59 community, especially on the subreddit. You can find me there all day, every day, harassing pussies. Not gonna lie, because fuck the G59 subreddit, Fuck. Well, the Suicide Boy subreddit, not so bad. The G59 subreddit, full of pussies, full of TikTok fans, full of fucking new age fans that think like it's all up their new fucking music is so good, it's the best shit they've ever produced. Yeah, sure. I've heard this argument over and over. Their musical production quality has gotten better. Where have any of the old fans said that it hasn't? We've just said we don't necessarily think the new music is the best. But you equate the best music to best production quality. It's not how it works. Yes, most good music, like music pieces, are very well produced. But some of my favorite fucking shit from the Suicide Boys is when they were in that shed. Sounding grimy. Sounding fucking nasty. Sounding like they couldn't afford to fucking produce their shit. Because they couldn't. They were making it work. And I don't know. Maybe it's the sound of the struggle that fucking gives it that little tinge. But like, they've lost it. They have songs that I like. Matt Black, I like 1,000 Blunts. I love like most of the long-term effects of suffering album. But like after 2018, after I Want to Die in New Orleans, everything shifted, and I think that they realized that they had to turn more pop. They had to have a much more approachable sound. And what's approachable? A poppy sound. A lot of auto-tune, a lot of synth waves, and that's kind of like what their new music is. And it sucks because they're making new music for the fans, right? But what fans are they making it for? They're making it for the new fans, the fans that will bring them the money. All those rich kids that can afford to go see them at the Red Rocks for like $500, $600. It's not for the people that grew up in a struggle. Like I said, I can afford the VIP tickets in my city. It's not the fact that I can't afford it that I'm not going to go this year. It's the fact that I think they've sold out. It's the fact that I think that they are focusing on the new fan base, even though they tout that they hate TikTok and they hate blah, blah, blah. And even Scrim has said, you know, he's kind of called out new fans and saying, I'll try to post it here, I'll find it, where he's like, yeah, if you don't have any problems and you're listening to us, you're weird. Because like, yeah, like honestly, I do think it's kind of weird to listen to music you can't relate to. Not saying you can't relate to any kind of music. Like people relate to EDM music and there's no fucking words. Just vibes, right? But if you can't connect to it, like why are you listening to it? Oh, it's just a vibe. Yeah, I guess. But like, it's just a vibe to songs talking about like, the fuck? It's just a vibe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that mental illness is really a vibe, huh? Like it's goofy as hell if you're just listening to them for a vibe. Yeah, the fucking kill yourself vibe, because that's all it is. Like they're not called the fucking like we're not depressed anymore, boys. They're called the Suicide Boys. Like, and while they seem to be doing better, like they still have a certain message that they're trying to get across, and that they will always try to get across. And it's like, yeah, if you don't have any problems, why are you here? And it's funny that Scrim can self-actualize that, really. Like, he can see, like, why are these people that clearly can afford to fucking pay $1,000 to see us here? People that have problems can't afford that. Drug addicts can't go afford that. Realistically, like, if you're doing heroin, you're not really worried about, like, let me try to save up $1,000 to go see my favorite musical artist. You're worried about how can I get my fucking next fix, brother. So it's like, it's funny, and I think Ruby's known it the whole time. Ruby's always been much more social media minded than Scrim has, but it's funny because you've noticed a shift as they've gotten sober. Who's fallen off of social media more than who? Because Scrim low-key lurks. Scrim is always watching Twitter, always watching the subreddit, because he cares about what people think about him. I think Scrim is the main reason why the boys have taken the turn that they have. I think it's much less Ruby than it is Scrim. I think they both care about money, but like, Ruby used to make the merch. He doesn't anymore. Why? Ruby's designs used to be the best ones. I wish I had some of my designs, like the Ruby designs. They're back home. I'm not gonna go get them for a video. I'm not gonna go drive 6 hours to go get them. But like, I wish I had some of those old designs with me to wear, because those were way better than the new designs, honestly. And like that kind of brings into another point, right, of merch. But like, let's continue with the music real quick. Look at Scrim's newest album, Lonely Boy. What the fuck does it sound like? It sounds like he's trying to be every popular rapper right now, trying to sound like Gunna in certain songs, trying to sound like Yeet in certain songs, trying to sound like fucking Cardi in certain songs. Dude is literally just auto-tuning the fuck out of his voice and trying to sound like everybody ever to make a buck. Same with Staff Workforce. All those shitty pieces that came out, no one got refunds. Hardly anybody got sent the right piece. The only person that did was a motherfucker that works at a Chiba Hut here in my town. You know why he got a good piece? Because his cousin is in charge of the fucking merch. And it's funny that the boys were making like a big stink because recently G59 merch had a problem. And the boys were like, oh, we didn't even realize. But how did you not realize, Scrim? You're always online. You saw that everybody was pissed off about the staff workforce drop. And you're fucking like lost that G59 had the same issue. It's because you're a sellout. You knew there was a problem. You just knew that you could get away with it on a bigger scale. In fact, there's people out here claiming that they ordered things a year and a half ago from G59 and hadn't got it. The only reason you fucked up is because it was a staff workforce was a designer. It was a designer. It's supposed to be special and expensive. There's a reason it's so much. Shut the fuck up, Scrim. Shut up, you sellout. Like, yeah, I get it. Both of you were trying to make money and be famous. That was the goal, right? The goal was the cash. If you listen to the music, it's pretty clear the Suicide Boys don't care about you as much as they tout it. I have video evidence too. Like Scrim and Ruby, I don't have that part. I don't think I have that part on tape, but they have just finished giving a speech at the most recent grade A, 2023. We're all family. If you see anybody tripping or blah, 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 pick them up. There was a girl right in the front freaking the fuck out about how she couldn't breathe. Right in front of Scrim and Ruby. And they didn't even acknowledge her.
So, Phoenix, do y'all think we were here last year? Yes, we were. Do y'all
Like
think
nothing's happening. That's
y'all
funny.
think we can turn it up?
That's hilarious.
This year?
I'm dead. They
All right,
don't
we're
give a
gonna
fuck.
crank that bitch all the way to 10. Can you do that for me? Let's start with a simple question. We'll start there. Are you motherfuckers ready? Wait. Me and Ruby got these things in our ears, so we can't really fucking hear you. Oh wait, they were serious? That was real? I guess so. Oh, wow. So on this next time, I want to feel that shit in my motherfucking chest. Are you motherfuckers ready?
Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. I remember back in the day when they did. I remember there was a time when they would stop shows and get that shit fixed. They don't care anymore. They don't. Ruby, I could say he's not necessarily a sellout, at least in the music, because he definitely wants to make his own music. He has carried the Suicide Boys since I Want to Die in New Orleans. Personally, I think he's carried them for a lot longer. That's just because I'm a Ruby fan. I think his lyrics relate to me more. I can relate to a lot of Scrim's lyrics, but like just way more to Ruby's lyrics. And he's always been a musician. He's always known how to play so many different instruments. He was in a punk rock band as a drummer before this. And then now he makes his own punk rock music under Duck Boy. He cares about music much more than Scrim does because he's not trying to sound like anybody else but himself. However, Scrim, he just wants the money. Ruby obviously did care about the money at one point, but I think the motherfucker's comfortable. like he said in a couple songs, like that. Fuck, what song was it? Was it Matt Black? Where he's like, I can't, like, all the plaques from all the music we made, I can't put them on the wall because it's not my taste. Like, he's not about showing off. He's a recluse. He cares about the money, sure, but like, I think he cares about his art form. Like, the problem, however, does arise again with the merch. Scrim knew about it, and there's no way Ruby didn't know about the merch mishaps. Like, yes, Ruby stays off of social media more now, but like, he doesn't mean he's oblivious. And I think that Ruby leaving the merch design and leading the merch, I get it. They are touring artists. They are one of the most popular artists in the world. But like, him giving up the merch to whoever they gave it up to just kind of like, it definitely felt like they cared more when they were running things and things were smaller. And I mean, that happens, right, with corporations. They're essentially a corporation. They have a record label, and they're very exclusive about who they sign and who they even do features with. Like, at this point, it seems like if you're not on G59, they're not as willing to give you a feature. At this point, back in the day, it was a lot different. But yeah, just everything points to them being sellouts, and that kind of, like, it irks me, because it's like, I get it. I want to be rich. I'm sure you want to be rich. Who doesn't want to be rich? Who doesn't want to have enough money to do whatever the fuck they want? But at the end of the day, when you made your money cultivating a culture, cultivating a fan base, and telling these fans how much you love them, and then there's that kid, there's that one fan that they've met a couple times, and even when they were drugged out, they remembered him. I'm sure they'd still remember him if they met him today. They can't do that with everybody, of course. There's millions now, but like, it's that dedication, and it's like, maybe that kid, but I highly doubt they'd remember they met me. Like, unless I showed them a picture, and even the pictures look like you guys saw. Those pictures don't look like how I look now, necessarily. And they were on drugs in 2016 for sure, so how are they gonna remember me? But that's besides the point. Like, the point is more like, it just felt. And maybe this is all just feelings, and maybe that I'm completely off basis, and they are completely in love with their art, and I'm just misreading the room. But to me, it does feel like they're sellouts. It doesn't feel like they care about the music as much anymore, at least on Scrim's side. It seems like Scrim only cares about making some fire beats to fucking sound like Yeet over. But like, that's not what we want. We don't. If I wanted to listen to Yeet, I'd go listen to Yeet. If I want to listen to Gunna, I'd go listen to Gunna. Like, came here to listen to Suicide Boys, right? Like, came here to listen to some grimy shit. And that brings me to like the next point, and then probably the final point is New World Depression. I'm just really concerned about the newest album, because it's like, out of the 3 singles that they've released, right? They touted how this new album is gonna be for the old fans. The old fans gonna fuck with this new album. The old fans gonna love this new album. I'm an old fan. My best friend's an old fan. I know a couple other old fans. A lot of the old fans that I know have all unanimously agreed only one song was any type of vibe close to the old fans liking it, the old Suicide Boys, and that was Thin Gray Line, right? Because that did feel like an older Suicide Boys song, right? Like, at least to me. Same with like the Yin Yang tapes. I think the Yin Yang tapes, bro, I'm sorry, but if y'all hate the Yin Yang tapes, y'all new fans, because that was the most the Suicide Boys have sounded like old Suicide Boys in a minute. And if y'all confused on that, then you literally don't know shit about them, because they used to do that shit all the time. It just means you haven't listened to their discography like I have, and I get that. But like, that Yin Yang tapes, that was some fucking heat, dog. And like, and even the new Razor, the Razor 5, that was a banger. I didn't like the second 2 songs as much. They kind of grew on me, but that fucking that Empty as Ghosts or whatever, or not even Ghosts are this empty. Especially Ruby's verse, guys. Like, fuck. It's a banger. They still make good music. Just because they're sellouts doesn't mean they can't make good music. But when you say the old fans are gonna fuck with this new album, and you release 3 songs off of a 13-track album, and only one of those songs is anything like or close to the vibe that old fans would want. That's 15% of your album. 30% of it is already stuff that old fans don't like, right? That's a little concerning. And then Kill Yourself Part 5 is on there. Y'all already kind of shaky with Part 4. I mean, I was afraid about you guys ruining the legacy with Razor. I'm kind of concerned about the Kill Yourself saga. I think like if you guys don't get Kill Yourself Part 5 right, like it's a nail in coffin for that series. Because 4 was already shaky. Like 1 was kind of cringe because you guys were first getting into it. 2, hardest. 3, saddest but best. 4, shaky. 5, I want it to be good. But I don't know. Because so far what I've heard is the same Suicide Boys I've heard since like 2020, 2022. Probably 2022 when that Stop Staring at the Shadows. So that was like 2020, right? Long-Term Effects of Suffering was a little bit of a return to form. And then you get the Green Album. I'm trying to remember. It's the one with the Orthodox pasture on it. And it has like Matte Black and 1,000 Blunts. But like that one, I was like, it was okay. Like I said, Matte Black and 1,000 Blunts are really my favorite songs off of that. There's a couple others, but for the most part, that's really it. And it's like, when you say the old sound, like, I have a picture in my head of what I want. And it's not what you guys have delivered the last, like, 4 years. I'm sorry. You probably don't give a fuck. And you're probably not even ever going to watch this. But, like, it just sucks. Coming from a fan who really, like, I feel like I did my best to add to the culture while I was at those shows and spreading the music around and doing what I was supposed to do as a fan. And it just feels like at this point you don't care. You only care about the money, and however you can make your bottom line give you more and more and more. And that's it. And I get it. Like, you talk about it in your music all the time, how money is the only fucking thing you want, really, and how you don't give a fuck about anybody or anything. And, you know, coming from a fucking, you know, previous crackhead and a previous heroin addict, like, why wouldn't they be grimy? Why wouldn't they be money focused and like concerned about themselves? Obviously, I hope different, because they always seemed so nice whenever you met them. They always seemed so caring on stage. But then again, like I was talking about, where I've literally witnessed them giving a speech about pick up your brothers, we're all family, and that girl needed out and security had to come help, and they didn't even acknowledge them, even though she was right there in the VIP section at the front. So it's just concerning. I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna stop listening to Suicide Boys. Could never, because they literally have to come out and be some fucking like straight weirdos or some Xavier Wolf shit or some ADP shit for me to delete all their shit off of my phone. Because like, if they just start making shitty music I don't like, we got 2015 and we got some bangers since, you know what I mean? And it is what it is. Bands and groups fall off all the time. Artists fall off all the time. And artists sell out all the time. And sometimes, you know, and sometimes selling out shows isn't worth it, because you really just sell your soul. And I know they don't believe in that shit, you know? It's kind of a play on one of the lyrics, obviously, but like, they don't believe in necessarily a soul, but I don't think you have to be religious to understand what selling your soul means. And they might not have signed to a record label. They might be independent, but you can still sell your soul. You can still sell your morals down the road. You know, maybe they don't have morals. You know what I mean? Like I said, they were grimy dudes. They were. And I guess I just hope for better. And that's on me. That's on me. You should never expect anything from anybody at all. I think if you live by that, you should be straight. Anyways, guys, that's just my kind of thoughts and ramblings and concerns about the upcoming Suicide Boys album. We'll see, and I may retract my statements. I may come in and give a little quick update video, and I may retract my statements. I'm completely willing to do that. I see no need not to. If I feel any different after the album, but if I still have relatively the same feelings after the album, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Can't always fix something that's just like, you know, if it's going down, it's going down. But we can always hope for new Duck-Boy music, you know what I mean? So, anyways, it's been Quentin Tarantino, and remember, together we can move mountains.